It is finally the time of year to harvest the honey. So I thought I would show you how I'm preparing, because it's sort of a 2-day process. So I'm going to put on what's called a clearing board, then that will happen tomorrow, and then the day after I'll actually take the super of honey off, and that will be the honey harvest. So I'm going to turn you around, and I've pulled a few things out of the spidery shed to show you in theory how you do it. Okay, so I've got 2 empty supers, and imagine they're full of honey and bees, and I've got 1 super to come off, so which will be the top one. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to remove this, then I'm going to put on what is called an eek and a clearing board. So that's my eek, like that. Clearing board, which has got bee escapes, and I'll take those apart in a minute. And then you put your box full of bees and honey up there. And what happens overnight is they go down into the nest, and they go down into these bee escapes and can't get back up into the honey. And then next morning I come along, whip this off, and in theory there aren't any bees in it. It does normally work pretty well. Anyway, this stuff all needs a really good clean. It's, as I say, it's come out of the spidery shed, so I'm going to clean it properly in a minute. Okay, bee escapes, very clever. Bees go down here, and inside here they can go out, but they can't come back in. This stuff that you can see here, this is propolis, which the bees make out of resin from trees, and it is bee glue. So what I'm going to have to do is take these inside and give them a blooming good boil and try and get rid of this. They also use propolis to make the varnish for violins. I don't know whether they still do, but that's what they used to do. And it's also used in herbal medicine. So there you go. These need a good clean, as does all of this, because it's kind of full of spideries, webs and bits of dust and potentially bacteria. So I'm just going to get the old blowtorch on it and give it a clean. I'm at the out apiary, about to put the clearing board on the bees. So fingers crossed it clears properly. I mean, they normally do. I mean, it normally isn't a problem. But yeah, so I'm going to try and video it. I think, yeah, I will try and video it. But anyway, I'm not sure how successful it'll be, but I guess you'll know in a moment. So if you don't like bees, in the theory, the next bit is going to be bees. So yeah, fingers crossed. So it's about 8 o'clock. I've just picked up the box of honey. There were 1 or 2 stragglers in there, but I think I've got most of them out. And now back to the house to start processing. As with all things, it's really easy to buy all the toys and all the equipment. What I'm doing here is uncapping, which basically means I'm taking the little wax cap off the end of each of the cells. Now you can buy knives to do this, you can buy specialist forks to do this, but to be honest, I just use a dinner fork and it works perfectly. Now, once this has uncapped, I'm going to place it in the honey spinner. And when we had an awful lot of hives and it was part of our business, we had a really big honey spinner. Now we just have 2 hives. I have inherited my father's old honey spinner and it only takes 2 frames, but it's absolutely perfect for doing what we're doing, which is basically just a hobby, because trust me, we do not make any money doing this. So I'm back up at the apiary and I'm going to put on the frames that I've just extracted. So they're wet, they've got most of the honey out, but there is a bit of a residue, so I'm going to give that back to the bees. I'm just going to put it on top, not going to use smoke, and what they'll do is they'll go up, they'll clean that, and the honey they will take down into what's going to be their super, rather than it sort of putting it in what is our super. If that makes sense. Gosh, I hope that makes sense. So it should be very easy and quick. They're very mellow. It's a lovely day, so fingers crossed, really, smoke won't be necessary. That went without a hitch. Now I'm going back to the house, going to strain the honey, and then probably it'll be tomorrow before I actually put it in jars, just because it takes a bit of time for the honey to settle and you want any air bubbles to rise to the top of the honey. Right, so that's all gone quite well, and at the end of the video I'll let you know exactly how much honey we've got. Well, we're on our evening walk and that processing pretty much took me all day. We have 5.5 kilos, which is roughly 12 pounds of honey. A couple of those pounds will go to the landowner who lets us keep our hives on his land, and the rest of it will be for us and gifts for our family. I mean, really? You don't do it for the money. I mean, we don't sell it anyway, but you know, it's if we did sell it round here, it's about £6 for a pound jar of honey. So if we were to sell it, that'd be like £72. Well, you know, you don't do it for the money. You do it because you love it, and we love it. And Andrew has found it really difficult this year to actually get up to the bees. He always used to come up. He has an off-road mobility scooter, and he always used to come up with me, and we were like a tag team. So he would do the brain work and I would do the physical work, but he's found it really difficult this year to do that. So I've had to do the brain work, which, okay. I mean, you know, I am second generation beekeeper. My dad was a beekeeper. I do know what I'm doing, kind of. So yeah. So I will show you the jars when, I won't say, I was going to say when I get back from the walk, but no, I have dinner to cook. I will show you the jars tomorrow. Anyway, see you tomorrow. It's been such a difficult year for the bees. It feels like a real blessing to have just a little bit of honey. And I think I've made it fairly clear in the videos that we really don't do it for the honey. We do it because we love keeping bees. However, having honey is a bonus. So this is said honey, and it's beautiful colour. And tasting it, I think it's probably quite a high percentage of blackberry flower, and then there definitely is a bit of heather in there as well, because it's quite dark, and there were bits where it was quite sort of I want to say gel-like, because heather honey is quite sort of a distinctive texture. Definitely not 100% heather honey, because that's actually quite difficult to extract and you need a press for that. But I think there is some heather honey in there. So I hope you enjoyed this video and coming along for the journey of collecting the honey for the year. As ever, if you would like to support my channel, the best way you can do it is by subscribing, liking and leaving a comment below. I do also have a buy me a coffee option, which is £3, and it's just a one-off payment, and it just helps me with the running costs of the channel. So until next time, my friends, have a wonderful creative week.